What if you don't need to live in pain and suffering? What if you could give up your karma and have a life of abundance and joy? What if you could start creating magic and miracles that you never thought were possible? Get ready to listen, share, and experience the magic that is you. Now, here's the host of Creating Abundance with Ease radio show, Dr. Helen Gitlevich.
Welcome, I'm Dr. Helen Gitlevich on Creating Abundance with Ease. And today our show is Does Fear Run Your Life? I'm a medical doctor who became Access Consciousness Facilitator, Akashic Records teacher, 3-day body facilitator. I have many hats, including podcast host, including published author. And I do invite people to a different possibility with their health, money, relationship, through private classes and sessions. And it's all around the world, live and online. And today, as I said, our show is Does Fear Run Your Life? How much do you live your life in fear? Does fear actually run it? Are you afraid of you? Are you afraid of you or your loved ones getting sick? Are you afraid you don't have enough money? Are you afraid your relationship, family kind of like disappearing? So let's play with that and see if we can change or let go of some of your fear. I'm not asking you to let go of all of your fear, but just maybe a little bit, this much or this much, whatever you choose. This is about your choices. It's not about me telling you you have to get rid of your fear. To me, fear is something that hindered me and stopped creation for a very long time. So I know what fear is. With a lot of it, actually, I looked up the definition of fear and I found out there is 31 definitions of fear. And I'm like, what? It's like literally 31 definitions. Are you like, is that for real? So I started looking through them, and there were anything from actual like physiological fear to fear of a deity, or actually awe-inspiring fear of being wrong, or fear of something, fear of so many things. And on the top of that, since I've been in Access Consciousness, that was founded by Gary Douglas and Dr. Dane here, it actually, I found out that fear can be mistaken for excitement and excitement for fear, because it's the same physiological response. The fear starts with the adrenaline being pumped into your bloodstream. It's a hormone of fight or flight. That's an ancient response when we were still in the animal stages, where an animal sees something dangerous. They need extra speed, extra um, kind of like strength to fight, either to fight or to run away from the danger. Think of a deer when it sees a lion, it runs away. So the adrenaline is a hormone that our kind of like adrenals put out, and it creates increased heart rate, sweating, pupils get wider like big eyes, so we can see better, so our heart pumping more blood, so we're stronger. And also it lowers the pain threshold. So if we're injured, we still can run away. But over the years, a lot of it turned into perceived fear. That danger is not there, but the emotional danger might have been there, or perceived like fear of something. And it also goes into programming. A lot of like PTSD people, I would say victims, but people who experience trauma at a very high level, they go into that loop of re-experiencing the same trauma again, like people who came from war, people who've been raped, people who've been kind of like anything, abused. It all creates a loop in the brain where anytime when they think about it, the fear comes up again. And the same physiological response creates this, the same body response. And sometimes because it's perceived danger and we cannot run away from something that's not there, or even if it's there and we cannot run away or fight it, the adrenaline keeps pumping and the response getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And eventually it creates other hormonal responses where it damages our body. With all of that, it's kind of like, what do we do with that? One of the ways is looking at that. Is it a real danger where I do need to get out? If you're in an abusive relationship, maybe you can do something about it, choose something different. If you're in an abusive work situation, ask what else is possible here. And that's one of the tools of access, asking questions. Because a lot of times when we are in that fight or flight response, we don't even realize that there is no actual danger. Nobody is going to kill us and nobody is going to eat us. So with that, we look at that and it might be hard in the moment, but maybe 2 seconds later or 5 minutes or an hour later, start asking questions. What is that? And look at the energy. What do I do with that? And look at the energy. Can I change it? Yes or no? And sometimes it's a no, I cannot change it. Then you go into different questions. But if you get a yes, ask, how can I change all of this? And if you get a no, then you can start asking a different question. How does it get any better than that? And what else is possible? And if you listen to some of my other podcasts or other webinars that are on my YouTube or Facebook Lives, Instagram Lives, you will hear that tool over and over again. And yet, the how does it get any better than that and what else is possible is considered a basic tool which is in every manual that Access Consciousness has, the BARS manual, the Foundation manual, many classes we talk about it. And yet, I've been in Access over 9 years. When I started it, I've used it so much to the point where my daughter was telling me, Mom, come on, stop using it. It's annoying. And things were shifting and changing when I was using it. And then I forgot about it. Like, seriously, I was using more advanced tools, kind of like more advanced questions, and went into like, was taking a lot of classes. And just recently, like a couple of weeks ago, I'm like, wait, I think I was facilitating one of the free Zooms or in a class, I don't remember where, and suddenly it's like, wait, I haven't been using how does it get any better than that and what else is possible to the full extent. Because when I started, I would use it for everything. And I'm talking about every little thing. I would have breakfast and I'm like, oh my God, look at this food. How does it get any better than that? And when I would go on a plane and ask for upgrade, I would say, how does it get any better than that? What else is possible? And I would get upgrades. So it was playful. There was no seriousness. I used it when I would get anxiety. I'm like, okay, how does it get any better than that? What else is possible? Because when you're in fear, a lot of it has to do with some judgment or underlying solid point of view. And the antidote to that is gratitude. Gratitude is simply like, how does it get any better than that? And you can use it in any situation, either when it's bad, like anxiety and fear, and you're having problems, maybe monetary, maybe relationship, maybe family, maybe illness. And you look at that and it's like, I cannot deal with that. What if you don't have to? What if the universe actually can support you and have your back? And by asking, how does it get any better than that? And what else is possible? You're giving the universe permission to support you. And with all of that, universe is there like, hi, let's see how we can create something different, something better. And it's time for our first break of the show. And you've been listening to Creating Abundance with Ease with myself, Dr. Helen Gitlevich, on Inspired Choices Network. And when we return, I'll tell you a story about God, universe, and how it can support us, especially when we are in a situation where the fear is overwhelming. And we'll be right back.
Many of us live our lives based on karma, on the past, and all the unfinished business in our lives. What would you choose if you did not have karma, or if you could choose what you desired instead? By tuning into Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to create the abundance in your life. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to have ease with creating abundance? Listen for Creating Abundance with Ease radio show every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is the Creating Abundance with Ease show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to helen.g@att.net. Now, back to the program.
Welcome forward, everyone. I'm Dr. Helen Gitlevich. I'm creating abundance with ease, and today our show topic is Does Fear Run Your Life? And before we went on a break, we were talking about how universe supports us, and you can call it God, you can call it the universe, you can call it divine force, consciousness, oneness. All those terms are interchangeably. It's about that force in the universe, the quantum entanglements, elementals. Every molecule has consciousness, and it's all about supporting us and gifting us what we ask for. But if we don't ask, it's not going to gift us because of that universal law of free will. We have a free will. We are choosing our destiny. We're choosing what's out there. And with all of that, I promised to talk about that story. And it's a famous story about the print, like footprints on the sand. And the guy is talking to a God, and he says, God, when everything was fine, I could see two sets of the footprints in the sand. You were walking with me. But then when it was a problem, when I was in fear, things were not going the way it was, when I really, really needed you, all I could see is one set of footprints on the sand, in the sand. And where were you when I needed you the most? And God answered, well, I was there. I was actually carrying you. And the footprints were my footprints carrying you through the difficult situation. But we don't recognize that a lot, that the universe has our backs. The fear overwhelms us. And I love an acronym. Years ago, because I've done a lot of spiritual modalities throughout the years. I've started when I was very young. And I remember somebody telling me, fear is nothing more than false evidence appear real. Because that's what it is. It's programming for us to react to something that might not be there. A lot of it is like, you know how people in desert, they see mirage of water and they go after it. That mirage of danger a lot of times create that fear in our lives that's not there. And a lot of times that, how does it get any better than that? And what else is possible actually can change that. So let's look at one of your fears in your life right now. Maybe financial, maybe with family, with illness. And let's drop our barriers, because a lot of times we have so many barriers, protection, that we assume that it's real, but it's the only protection we can have is awareness, knowing that we have the power to change anything and everything. We're magical. So let's drop our barriers and expand. And look at the problem you have right now, that you have a lot of anxiety about, a lot of fears. You maybe have no clue how to deal with that, or maybe you do know how to deal with that, and you're still afraid that it will not turn out the way you desire. Maybe work, maybe loved ones, something that you might or might not be able to change based on your perception. You have it in front of you. I assume you do. Just look at it. And let's just say, how does it get any better than that? What else is possible here? Do you feel lighter? I do, because I'm looking at my situation where there is a lot of anxiety and fear. And by the way, I'm not immune to those. Even after, not even after many, many years, I realize it's layers and layers of stuff. There are still reactions. And it's not about not reacting and judging yourself for reaction and saying, oh, I shouldn't react here. No, 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 no. That's not it. It's about looking at what is in front of you. And sometimes we might not react anymore. And sometimes the reaction is much shorter lived. And it's about using the tools when the reaction come in. And I'm not saying you will never have fear again, or I will never have a fear again. Oh, that would be nice if it was real. It's about choosing how you respond if it does occur. Because it's about allowing yourself to be. And when you are in that, how does it get any better than that space? A lot of things just melt and disappear, especially the fear. So again, look at the same problem and ask, how does it get any better than this? And what else is possible here? And once more, how does it get any better than that? And what else is possible here? And you might use that many, many times over and over and over until the fear subsided. And you can also ask, what other tools can I use here? What questions can I ask for it to disappear? And fear can be real because there might be some danger. Fear is not just something that, oh, it's anxiety and dismissing it. If you have something that feels like fear, just keep asking questions. What is that? What do I do with that? Can I change it? And if yes, how can I change it? And how does it get any better than that? If it's a real fear, if there is a danger, just go away. Just if you feel, let's say you're walking by like a street or by a house and you feel fear, and you might, like, there is a couple of ways of going to your house or to wherever you're going, and you feel fear from going to a certain street or an alley. Don't go there. The fear is warning. Don't go there. Just turn around and see if the fear disappears. Also, the fear can be kind of like an excitement. As I said, the excitement releases the same adrenaline hormones in the bloodstream. Same kind of like heart pounding and eyes getting wide and excitement, excitement, excitement. And a lot of times when we were kids, when we got so excited, the parents look at us and like, what are you afraid of? It's fine. And we learn that response. Oh, when I get that excited, it probably is fear because my parents said that's what it was. No, it's not. So again, by asking questions, not going into conclusion, we can always look at that and say, okay, is it fear or is it excitement? Okay, it's a fear. And instead of running your life you can always say, okay, so what can I do differently here? How does it get any better than that? And what else is possible? A lot of times you might not get the verbal response, especially what else is possible. It's about universe, God, divine intervention, kind of opening it to that. And you might find out that you might get answers. Like, how does it get any better than that? And what else is possible? You might get, oh, don't go there, or quit your job, or get a divorce, or not. And by the way, I'm not telling you to get a divorce or quit your job. This is not my place. This is not what I'm preaching. This is about you choosing for you what works for you. And for me, when I was working and was married and ended up with open heart surgery at 37, and there was a lot of fear going on. Not even going to go in details, but there was a lot of adrenaline and cortisol being formed. And there is a difference between kind of like a spike fear or excitement or kind of adrenaline jump versus a chronic stress, a chronic fear, when you are in a situation where there is a constant fear. And I was living in a constant fear for many years. And that's what created heart disease and ended up on the operating table. So after surgery, I started asking questions. So basically, what else is possible here? And I got an awareness to get out of all of this. So I quit my job, actually sold my practice because being a physician, I had my own private practice. So I sold my practice to a physician who was helping me out and quit medicine altogether. Went into alternative spiritual modalities and was trying to find myself, and also got a divorce at the same time. And my fear started subsiding, and that improved my health. And I still continue looking for different ways of improving my health, my financial situation, because I wasn't working at that time. And a lot of it shifted and changed with things that I was asking for. And time flies. It's our time for our second break of the show. And when we return, we'll talk more about fear and excitement and how not allowing fear to run your life. And you've been listening to Creating Abundance with Ease with myself, Dr. Helen Gitlevich, on Inspired Choices Network. And we will be right back.
Many of us live our lives based on karma, on the past, and all the unfinished business in our lives. What would you choose if you did not have karma, or if you could choose what you desired instead? By tuning into Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to create the abundance in your life. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to have ease with creating abundance? Listen for Creating Abundance with Ease radio show every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Magic and abundance are everywhere. What if you could tap into abundance and start creating your life with complete and total ease? Working with Dr. Helen Gitlevich will give you exactly that, total ease in creating abundance in your life. Dr. Gitlevich creates classes all over the world, both in person and online. She works with you to create abundance with your money, with your body, with your relationships, with all areas of your life with total ease. Connect with Dr. Helen Gitlevich at creatingabundancewithease.com. Her contribution in your world will be a noticeable gift in a very short period of time.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is the Creating Abundance with Ease show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to helen.g@att.net. Now, back to the program.
Welcome forward, everyone. I'm Dr. Helen Gitlevich on Creating Abundance with Ease. And today our show topic is, does fear run your life? And in the first two parts of our show, we were talking about that fear is just false evidence appear real. A lot of times it's not a real, it's not a response to real fear, and sometimes it is. In the second part, we were using tool of asking questions. How does it get any better than that? And what else is possible? With the second part, we were talking about that excitement creates the same adrenaline response as the fear. And sometimes we get confused with that. So with fear, and we started talking about that there is acute fear, kind of like one-time response, which is not as dangerous as a chronic fear. When you're living in a situation where you're in a constant state of being afraid, or constant state of anxiety, constant state of how do I meet my ends meet, or abuse. Victims of post-traumatic stress disorder a lot of times live in constant fear that the situation that they had will repeat itself. They keep reliving it because it creates what's called trifle sequencing system, almost like a loop in the brain that keeps reliving the same situation over and over again and creating the same fear, the same anxiety, the same kind of like maybe anger, maybe whatever emotions there, it keeps repeating itself on a loop. And as we talked about before in the first part, and you can, if you are just joining us now, you can listen to those again. It's about asking question. What is that? How does it get any better than that? What else is possible? Also, I'd like to talk about fear that a lot of times it's not even ours. Because I know in my family, my mom, my grandma, they all used to worry about everything. It's pretty much they were in constant fear, because worry is another form of fear. And I learned as a little girl that you're supposed to worry. You're supposed to worry about everything. When I grew up, because I saw my mom worrying about me coming late when I was on a date. My grandma used to do the same thing. And I did the same when my daughter was growing up. I was afraid that something happens to her, and how much of those fears were not even mine. So another tool of access consciousness is, who does it belong to? And especially with fear, it's good for anything, but with fear, it's amazing. So look at your fear that you have right now. Maybe the same we used as an example before in the show, or a different one. look at that and ask, who does that belong to? Is it mine? Or is it so many people around you? Because what happens is we're sponges, like psychic sponges, and we pick up other people's emotions so easily. There might be a person next door, or maybe even a mile or 10 miles away, or kilometers, whichever measuring system you use, and they are afraid of something. Maybe their bank account is empty and they don't have anything to pay their bill, or maybe their loved one is very sick and dying, and you might not even have those issues, and yet you start being afraid. With all of that, it's about choosing to create something different. It's about shifting and changing. It's about asking, who does this belong to? Because that fear, you might have, like, you picked up that energy. You might or might not have a situation where it's just a little bit of fear. Maybe it's a situation, maybe you have a money problem, or maybe not. Maybe you have something else going on. Maybe you have kind of like something small, but your fear is much more because you're picking up other people's fears. So ask, who does that belong to? And let's ask it again, who does this belong to? Ask. Again, how does it get any better than that? With the fear, you might ask, okay, what else is possible here? And a lot of times it starts subsiding. If it didn't, when you just ask the question, you can return it back to sender if it lightened up a little bit. There is an app on iPhone, Android, and I'm not sure on the computer, but it's called, guess what? Who does that belong to? Exactly. And just download it. It's totally free. The only, I just want to warn you, if you close out of application, it will stop reminding. So in the morning, open it up and put it on whatever you'd like the intervals to remind you of the question. And what it will ding and will say, who does it belong to? And even if you don't have any fears or anything going on in your life, everything is peachy and wonderful, which I'm not sure how many people have that. And if you are one of those amazing people who don't have any problems, no fears, no anxieties, oh, you don't need to listen to this anymore. But if you have a little bit of fear, if you have any other emotions, it doesn't have to be fear, anything that's going on in your life that you don't like, just download the app and just put it on I think there is 10 minutes intervals, there is Dr. Dan recommendation, and then random intervals, whatever you choose, just keep asking, who does it belong to? Even for me right now, I'm so excited of being on the show and sharing with you what I know. Still, when I ask, who does it belong to? It lightens up in my universe because I'm perceiving a lot of things that other people have in their universes, in their bodies, in their minds. And it's all about just choosing what works for you. If it works for you to have the fear and anxieties, okay. I'm not going to tell you stop being afraid. And In Access, Dr. Dane here just recently started talking about structural cohesiveness, cohesion, I think. And it's about how we fit in this reality. A lot of fears are part of being in that structure and fitting in. Because a lot of people have anxieties right now, especially with COVID, especially with restrictions, especially with vaccines and all of that. It's about kind of like being like everybody else. And if you're not like everybody else, you are becoming a traitor to this reality. Kind of like you're so different, or you don't have fears, you don't have problems, you don't have things, or you don't react to problems. You don't react to your fears. You just ask, how does it get any better than that? They look at you, it's like, you're so strange, you don't belong here. So in their mind, and it's not cognitive, please. It's not cognitive. They just run away from, like some people will run away from you because you're so different. And a lot of people go back to anxieties and fears, and they keep being like everybody else, being like their family, being like their friends. And if it works for you, fine, but for me, it doesn't. That's why I've been doing lots of classes, using lots of tools, and creating more of kind of like, how does it get any better than that? With all of that, I'm choosing more. I'm choosing to create beyond what this reality tells me is possible. With everything that's in there, it's about choosing for you what works for you. If it works for you to be afraid, by all means, do that. If it doesn't, please choose something else. It's about your perception of this reality. If you fear of something that's not real, just ask, how does it get any better than that? Or maybe just choose something else. Choose to distract yourself from fear by doing something that's fun for you. And it's time for our third break of the show. And you've been listening to Creating Abundance with Ease with myself, Dr. Helen Gitlevich, on Inspired Choices Network. And we'll be right back.
Many of us live our lives based on karma, on the past, and all the unfinished business in our lives. What would you choose if you did not have karma, or if you could choose what you desired instead? By tuning into Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to create the abundance in your life. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to have ease with creating abundance? Listen for Creating Abundance with Ease radio show every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
This is the Creating Abundance with Ease show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to helen.g@att.net. Now, back to the program.
Hi, welcome. It's interesting. I didn't realize that we are live now. Welcome forward, everyone. And I'm Dr. Helen Gitlevich. I'm Creating Abundance with Ease. And today our radio show is not radio show. See, I'm like totally spaced out during the break. Our show topic is does fear run your life? And I could go into fear, I can go into anxiety, oh my God, I screwed up. And how often do we do that? How often does that actually not allowing us to be in that space of just being? It's about, like, we screwed up, okay, sometimes we do, and then we're afraid, how will it impact our lives? How will it um, affect other people? And what if it is not important? How much did we make things so significant of how we are not, and it creates so much anxiety in our lives? What if it's just about having fun? No matter if we screw up or not, just have fun. And if you listen to the first kind of like parts, because the show is in what, 3-4 parts, and it actually, like we talked about asking questions, how does it get any better than that? Also asking, who does it belong to? And the difference between excitement and fear, there is none, pretty much, as far as our body is concerned, and how detrimental to our health is chronic anxiety, chronic fear, chronic stress. So what if we actually allow it not to run our lives, not to destroy our bodies, not to destroy the relationship, even that we become traitors to this reality? What if we can create greater, what works for us? And we talked about the antidote to fear is gratitude. Also, antidote to fear is fun, joy, ease. And we talk a lot about how does it get any better than that, what else is possible. That's pretty much about gratitude and joy and fun. Because how does it get any better than that? And I know our show is coming to kind of like close, not the end, just close for this week. And I'm on the air live every week on Wednesdays at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And next week, we have another show, Do You Love, Hate, or Ignore Your Body? And we'll talk more about the bodies. We might talk about fear, how it affects the body, because fear actually stems from ignoring your body. And the body sometimes give you signals. Wait a second, you're afraid. Stop being afraid. It doesn't work for me. And it pushes the hormones out. And we'll talk more about the body's responses and how to communicate more clearly with the body, and how to listen more to the body and have fun with the body. Also, I'd like to remind you, if you're new to Access, to go to accessconsciousness.com to learn more about it, learn more about tools, maybe take some classes. And I'm facilitating a few classes coming up. One of them is going to be free Zoom, and it's also going to be Facebook Live, Joy of Having a Body, with it's going to be on August 16th. Sorry, I had to think for a second, at noon Central Standard Time. Also, a few online classes coming up, being you classes, One Day Adventures, which is going to be split in two days, 3 hours each. So it's a little bit more easy I wouldn't say easy, but more ease for people to attend. And they are August 13 and 14 from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Again, I'm on standard daylight time. One of them was Being You with Body, and the other one is Being You with Earth. The 13-14 is Being You with Earth, and 20th and 21st is Being You with the Body. Also, a couple of body classes coming up, one in Asheville, North Carolina, and it's on August 26th through 28th. And on the Labor Day weekend, I'm doing one at home, 3-day body class. And especially if you need a body class for certified facilitator training, you got two options. New requirement is you do have to have a 3-day body class within 12 months of going to certified facilitator training, even if you had one before. Also, just check in with other bars classes coming up. Facelift. I love body processes. That's why I facilitate body classes, because it's about bodies. And one way of dealing with anxieties and fears is to relax. Massages are good for getting out of the anxiety and stress, and also facials. One of the energetic facials are facelift, which is much more than just facelift. It actually creates a little different reality with the body. And it's 1-day class that's live. It's not online, just like bars classes. I don't believe the classes that involve touching can be online. So I know bars class is available online, but it's kind of like you can use it as a prerequisite, but not as actual class to get certified or to become a bars facilitator. So you do need classes online, classes in person. So the bars class is going to be on the 15th in Buffalo Grove, which is Chicago area, and facelift will be on 22nd. So grateful for you being here, and you can go to my website for any updates. It's www.creatingabundancewithease, and it's going to be in the podcast description. If you'd like to be on my email list, you can actually also download expansion exercise for free and just automatically being added to the newsletter. So let's talk a little bit. We have about a minute and a half left. Let's talk about magic around us. Because with fear, if the fear running your life, we don't see magic. We don't see how magical universe is. And one of the ways to see it and to be it is asking universe to contribute to us, asking for what we desire instead of what we are afraid of. One of the things, because the more we are in the fear, the more we create those things that we're afraid of. And it's such a huge topic, how we create from fear instead of actual desires, that I might need to do another show on that. I just realized, kind of like part 2. So next week might or might not be the Do You Love, Hate, or Ignore Your Body? Might be just part 2 of the show on the fear. And I love you all, and I'll see you, or you hear me next week. It's about just choosing. Bye.
Thank you for choosing to listen to Creating Abundance with Ease radio show. Dr. Helen Gitlevich will return next Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific. on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, have fun using the tools of the week in your life and start creating magic in your life and your body.